Hi everyone! Now Colorya have sent me a set of their nylon brush pens and with 2 water tank brushes to show you, demonstrate in one of their books. Now they sent me quite a lot of their books over the years, so I've picked one which I think will work nicely with these pens. Now I'm just going to slip off this piece of card. This is how it comes in this little box. Oh, it doesn't want to come off. It kept falling off next door, and of course now I want to slide it off. It's not going to come off. I thought it'd be easier to remove it, but maybe I was wrong. So let's just have a look at this first. It has all different languages, but it says perfect for Colorya's colouring books, watercolour art, hand lettering, bullet journaling and more. Water-based, non-toxic. 24 pens. Provide you a stunning pastel colour palette to expand your creative dreams. The flexible nylon brush tip allows you to create different line widths and colour intensity. And the water tank brush, note that it opens in counterclockwise direction. So let's take them out and just have a little look. Now I have taken one out already. You'll see that in a minute. So they come in these sort of plastic holders. This one is missing this. This is the water brush. I filled one with water because we're going to play with them in a minute. So just show you, you get two trays, different colours. It's sort of peaches and greens and oranges, yellows, blues, pinks, purples, browns. So what we're going to do is we're going to try out a few of the colours on a page in the book that I've picked, and then we'll play around with this and see what happens. I have no idea, so I'm rather excited. Now let's just reorganise myself. Let's move these over here. So this is one of their books. Now this is, I'll just show you, this is their Flower Mandalas book. Now the paper in the books is really thick, like card, so I think it's meant to stand pens, but I'm going to put this piece of it's a laminate with nothing in it just underneath, just in case we have any sort of problems with bleed through. We'll look at the end and see if we have. I'm going to start by just doing a few strokes of each colour, just so we can see what the colours look like and how they go down on the paper, and then we'll play around with the water brush a little bit after. So I'm just going to grab the first pen and just show you it to start with. So here we are. Oh, not too close. So it says Colorya nylon brush pen and pool blue, and it's got a number 444. Got a pretty little pattern on the bottom there, and we've got the colour tip and top. Look, there we go. So let's try it out. So I think I'm going to try out on the excuse me, on the bottom half, and I'm not going to think about making this match. I'm just going to play. I'm going to come in a little bit closer just so you can see how the strokes go down. I think it's more important you seeing how it goes down than seeing the set of pens next to me. So I'm going to try it in here. I'm not used to using pens, as well you know, so this is a bit of an experiment for me. So we've got quite a lot of liquid on the surface. Can you see that? It's interesting. But they are, I think they're watercolour because we've got this brush pen to play with. But I'm managing to get a reasonably even layer if I sort of persevere. And this very small tip is pretty good for these smaller areas. I was a little bit concerned because their latest book is called Petit Tinies or something like that, and it's all really small pictures, and I thought these pens wouldn't work for that, so I didn't pick that book. But actually you can get quite a small area of colour, which is interesting. I am not the neatest, I'm not confident with pens, but there we go. It's quite nice, isn't it? Oh, try and put the lid on upside down. That's always good, isn't it? So I'm going to push that back into the tray and get our next one. Our next one is called Slate Blue. Okay, let's see what this is like. Now I'm going to test in a minute to see how quickly it dries, because that's quite grey, isn't it? I find that on this paper, when I use a felt tip pen, you know, a normal water-based marker, they take ages to dry and smudge. I'm going to put my finger straight down there. It seems fine. I mean, I've made a bit of a weird mark, but it hasn't, there's none on my finger. That's interesting. So I think they're drying quite quickly. So I think probably because the pens are developed to work on this paper, that's helpful. You know, it makes sense, doesn't it? That is what you would expect. So there is our slate. What's it called? Slate blue, but it looks quite greyish, but that's fine. I mean, that sort of colour can always be useful. Our next one is called Misty Blue. Ooh, so I think we're going to get a paler shade of blue. Excuse me. Oh, that is pale. Look at that. You can barely see it. Now that's interesting. I can't really see that. You can a little bit. It's really pale. I feel like I have to encourage it a little bit by sort of going over and spreading. But I'm quite liking these brushes. Now I am absolutely useless at using a paintbrush and keeping in the lines. But this brush, I'm alright with this. Now this isn't a double-ended pen. I know sometimes pens come with two ends. You get like a chisel tip and a brush tip. This is just purely a brush tip on this one. Now I don't know how long the brushes are going to last, you know, whether they'll last as long as the ink or not. I think it will depend on the paper. I can't get this one out. Okay, push it from underneath. This is aqua. So I think sometimes with if you use rough paper like Amazon paper that's a bit feels very rough to your hand, almost like sandpaper, then it's going to wear down a brush. I mean, this isn't a fibre tip, but I think it could still splay the bristles, if you know what I mean. So, and I think you would need to go gently like I am really, but I don't know anything about brush tip pens at all, so I can't really say. That's just my sort of guess, I suppose. That's how I would use them myself, you know. Now we're moving on to green. We've got a seafoam green. So this is a pastel colour set. Let's put that in the middle. You can see better, can't you? So seafoam green. So I'm expecting them all to be reasonably pale colours. Now Colorya do books with black backgrounds. This is quite vibrant though, isn't it? I would say this was a permanent green, not seafoam green, but you know. Yeah, they do books with black backgrounds, which I sometimes used to think that doing a pastel with a black background would be good, but actually I find it just makes them look more wishy-washy, and with a black background it's usually better to a vibrant colour, not a pale one. But who knows, I don't know if I've got any ones with the black backgrounds from them now. I can't even remember. Right, moving on to mint green. Ooh, there it is. Mint green. I'm just moving, you can see I'm just moving around. We're just playing. I mean, we really, probably, this one's pale, isn't it? I'm just going to layer that up a bit. Probably should be doing the leaves in the green. But hey, why would we want to do that? I'm thinking maybe the, you know, combining colours together, so using them for shading, you know, with a darker green and a lighter green could work. That, you know, maybe mixing them up with our water brush. I don't know. We'll have a play once we've tested them out. Now this is a lemon yellow, and I'm thinking I might do the centres of these. I'm thinking maybe these are like flowers, and this is the centre. It's quite pale again, isn't it? But, you know, that's what you're going to expect from a pastel set. You know, pastel pencils are the same. Now I have coloured this book with pencil, and although the paper is very smooth, it does seem to work. I think it would depend on the pencil you use. I've tried Prisma's Castles, I think they were the soft touch, and Polly's, and they seem to be okay. You know, it can be a little bit hard to get them neat, if you know what I mean. This is a duck yellow. I'm going to do this line here. I like the name duck yellow. I don't know any yellow ducks. I guess baby ducks. Look at that. It's gone on top of the blue. It's going green. I guess you would expect that with any pen. And again, while I'm going out the line, I need to be a bit more careful. But what was I going to say? I don't know. Yeah, I've tried. Yeah, I find that hard pencils, Prism, polys and things, they don't always go on particularly well on smooth paper anyway. They don't blend nicely. They go a bit streaky. So I find that chroma flows are good. This is Marmalade. Good name. I'm going to put it here, and it's just not going to work next to green, but you know. Oh, it's very salmony. Oh, I do like marmalade. It's a long time since I ate any marmalade. I remember I used to go and stay at my aunt's house, and she used to live on the coast, and in the summer we'd go and stay there and then go down to the beach. She didn't live right by the beach, but we'd have to drive down to the beach. And she would always have lime shred or lemon shred marmalade. Oh, it was so nice. I mean, obviously orange marmalade is the traditional thing. This is tan, but it was the nib looks green. That does look a bit green to me. It's definitely the colour of the nib rather than the colour of the actual plastic, I think. But that's okay, you can see the nib. I don't expect pens and pencils to always be the colour of the outside, if you know what I mean, because the barrel or whatever, because they're often a little bit wrong. That's why you do a swatch chart. I might have to do one for this so that I can remember, but we'll see. I think it's reasonable. Now we have a soft peach colour. I've got to decide where to go. Oh, I know. We can do like this bit in here. Now these are being released or launched, sorry. I'm going to do a couple with this. These are being launched today, I've been told. Now, I don't know where they're available. I will have a look. When I put my, this is called Butter. When I put my video up onto YouTube and write the description, I'll have a look for them. Now, I'm suspecting that they're probably only going to be available on UK Amazon. And I know this can be frustrating, but they often launch in the UK first. And this is because, just getting my next set down, that was the whole of the first tray. This is because they're a French company, so we're a bit nearer. So this is ash grey than you guys in America, so I think that could be the reason. I know that you can buy off Amazon UK if you're in America, but obviously you then have to pay the postage, an international postage, which isn't ideal. This is dark, isn't it? But yeah, that is dark for a pastel, but hey, could be useful. Next is silver. Now I'm assuming this is going to be grey and not actually metallic, because it's just a water pen. Yeah, it's grey. It's a nice grey though. I would say that's definitely a silvery grey, and I think I could make a bit of a silver look with that, potentially, if I learn how to use them a bit better. This is Mustang. So it's a brown, I think. Yeah, so I don't know, and some of their books are available on US Amazon. I'm not sure if this one is, but and some of them aren't yet, and they just take quite a long time to come over the channel. No, that's how they get here, over the ocean. But we'll see. I think they have to think about the cost. This is Cheeky Pink, because they don't have them printed. You know, some companies seem to have distribution centres in different countries, but I don't know if they do. Oh, look at that. This is sort of That's a nice pink. I'm not a pinky person normally, am I? That's quite nice, but it's more of a salmony, peachy colour. It goes quite well with that one. That one's more orange, isn't it? I'm not very keen on the order that they're in, but you know me. I never am. Bubblegum ones, no making me happy. This is pale, but my goodness, it's. I'm just layering it up a bit. It's bright in the sense of fluorescent. Now we have a rosewood, but it looks like pink to me, not brown. I can hear my son next door. He's watching a accounting video for his study, which I'm sure it's not that exciting. This is called creamy pink. Now where are we going to go? Let's do these sort of petal-like shapes here. Perhaps we'll start at this end and move the other way, although I might end up smudging it, but we'll see. Who knows? Now I'm sort of going to ruin this page in the sense that the colours aren't really going to match, but I think it's fine. Oh, I'm layering it up now. I don't know why. I started, so I thought I had to continue. Now we have Queen Rose. It looks white. I'm intrigued. What colour is this? It's like a pale brownish grey, like a smoke, I'm gonna say. I know I'm gonna try something with the next one. Little experiment. Next one is called Mauve, and what I'm gonna do is put one layer down as even as I can. I'm not very good with pens, as you can see. It's, going to move quite quickly, and hopefully that will help it be more even. And then I'm going to put an extra layer in this section here, and another extra layer. We'll see how we can build that. Oh, look at that. We can build up the colour. That's interesting, isn't it? Right, we have a periwinkle. Oh, that's pretty. That's a nice colour. That's a sort of violet, I think. Let's build that up a bit as well. I think that could be quite good. I wonder how many layers we can do. There's one more. Let's try another one. Another one. We can get really saturated, and it goes from pastel to quite a dark colour. Look at that. But has it gone through the page? Oh, a tiny bit. There, look. But that is a lot of layers. So that's interesting. But it's a single-sided book, so that doesn't matter. And as I showed you, I put my plastic bit underneath, so it's all fine. Pastel sky. So back to a blue, are we? Or maybe this is a sort of, it's a greyish, purplish blue. There we go. And our last one is called Bluebird. Whoop. Here it is, Bluebird. And what I'm going to do next is play around a bit with the water pen. So what I'm going to do is experiment in my next box. So that's the Bluebird, just so you can see. So in this box, I'm going to put a layer of Bluebird down here, like that, and then I'm going to put a layer of, what other blue have we got? Here we are. Oh, this was the slate blue, remember? Put that there, Now these are going to dry, and then I'm going to try and mix them in the middle there by just dragging them with my water brush, and I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if we have to use the water brush when it's wet, or whether we can wait till it's dry. So this is my first experiment. So here's the water brush. It's a really simple one. Ooh, can't get the lid off. Ooh, I'm still trying to get the lid off. It's certainly, there we go. So here's the water brush. It's just got the brushes you would expect. My husband filled it with water for me. They open counterclockwise, which is a bit counterintuitive. I haven't got any paper in here, so I'm going to give it a squeeze and then just rub it on my finger. Oh, there we go. Now what am I going to do with that? Right, my top, of course. So we're going to wet this bit and see if we can drag it across into the centre area. And then wet this bit and see if we can do the same thing. It doesn't look like we're moving it, does it? So maybe we have to wait. There's two possibilities. It could either be that we need it to still be wet, which would be quite quick because it dries really fast, or there needs to be more saturated because it's definitely slightly bluer than that. So let's saturate our colour a little bit more. So here's the slate blue. Let's put down a lot of layers. So we've got like a decent covering of it. That's quite a lot, isn't it? It looks a bit granulated on the paper, which is interesting. And we used, was it the Bluebird we used? I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But we'll put that, yeah, it was. Put that down, layer it down quite a bit. I don't know if it's the paper sort of slightly breaking up from the wet, or whether the ink in the pen is granulating. Okay, so now I'm going to try and grab that while it's still wet. Nope. It's not really, is it? In this one. I'm not really seeing much movement. Really. Right, I'm going to try something completely different this time. Just put the lid on that brush. I know you're supposed to clean them. I haven't got a tissue. I've been really disorganised. What I'm going to do now is something in the middle here. I'm going to have a play. I'm going to try and mix a few colours together and see if we can get a nice effect. Now we've got, I'm going to use this, what colour was that? There was a gold, is it a gold? I'm going to use the dark yellow. I think these are the ones I want. Dark yellow, lemon yellow and tan. Is it tan? Anyway, so I'm going to start with the tan and I'm going to mark some of the darker areas. So I'm going to do it down here. See where these sort of fluffy bits are. I'm thinking under here it might be a bit darker. Might be some shadow. I'm going to put in quite a bit and then just sort of spread it. I'm not very good at, as I've said before, pen work, but I'm just playing with it and seeing what happens. So I'll put a bit here. I want it to sort of fade, but I don't know how to do that. I guess I layer it up in the areas I want to be darker. We'll see how it works out when I mess with it. So there's that. Just sort of. So that's my sort of shadow. And I'm going to take my dark yellow. I thought it was dark yellow. It's dark yellow, and add a bit more sort of darker area. So I'm going to just sort of go on top of here and expand it a little bit. This is how we'll do it in pencil, but obviously this isn't pencil. But we'll see what happens. It's not moving, is it? Once it's dry, it's dry. And then I'm going to use the lemon yellow in the space. I my hope is that it'll all sort of come together and look like we've got some three-dimensional patterning where the let's go around the edge a bit more carefully. But it certainly looks more textury than if I'd just gone over it in one colour. I'm wondering whether it's better to put the pale colour on first, so I'm going to try it up here. So I'm going to try and do a reasonably light layer of pale colour. I'm going out of the lines, which is not ideal, but yeah, it is what it is. It isn't as pale as I was going to go for, but because I messed it up. Now some dark yellow. Let's try this. So this might be better actually. See whether we can spot the difference when it's done. I've never tried to shade. I have, that's a lie, I've tried to shade with fine liners before, and you had to be ever so quick. You had to do it before they dried, which looks like this might be the same, but it just bled through the paper because I was doing it in a I can't remember, but a normal colouring book that was double-sided, so I got a little bit upset by the fact that it bled through the page. But this paper is single-sided. We've taken precaution with the plastic sheet underneath. I'm going to use the tan. I'm just going to go around the very edge with it. Yeah, so we've taken what I think is a good precaution, and the paper is nice and thick, so it means that I really can play around with experimenting with a bit of shading. Now, I wouldn't do this in a normal colouring book. I wouldn't trust these in a double-sided book, to be honest, but might be fun to try them in other single-sided books. But obviously they are specifically designed for this book. I'm going to have a look and compare, see whether, I mean, I've coloured it slightly differently, and it's sort of bleeding out into the colour that's there already, which I think is better. I think that looks a lot better, and I think I've coloured it better anyway, but it's sort of bleeding out. So I think starting with the pale first. Now I'm going to have an experiment with a petal. That's it, petal. I'm going to use, oops, this pink. This was the cheeky pink. And what I'm going to do is mark out the areas I want to be darker. So I'm doing it the other way again. Dark first. I'm thinking around the edge might be darker. And here maybe. Ooh. And then maybe along these lines. Now, it did say we could use this for different types of strokes. I'm going to play around with that in a minute. Now I'm going to use the, I think this will probably work, the bubble gum, to just expand those dark areas a bit. And leave some white or pale bits. This colour isn't really the best colour. Again, I think I should have started with my pale. But like that. Have we got a lighter? No, not really. I'm going to layer up here and see whether I can get them to blend better rather than being lines, but I think with markers you don't necessarily expect them to sort of blend. Ooh, that's split there, didn't it? I don't want to ruin my tip too much, so I'm going to just get my wood brush on here, see if I can get it to blend. See, what I'm wondering, I can't say what I'm doing. There we go. Can I get some of the onto my water brush? Don't think so. That didn't work. So I'm not entirely sure if these. What I'm going to do now, put a bit down. I'm going to use two hands. Wish me luck. I'm going to put a little bit there, and then immediately try and spread it. Oh, what if we make it wet first? I wonder what that'll do. Let's try here. Let's make this bit wet. Is that wet? Whoa, that's definitely going to be wet. Oh my goodness. But look, it isn't spreading that. Oh, it is. Look. So was it not wet enough? But now I'm really saturating the paper. I think I got that a bit too wet. But let's have a go at the bubblegum and just see what happens if I try and colour on this really, really... Oh, that's pretty. Really, really wet. Look at that. Okay. Now, I wouldn't advise doing this on... It's actually making the paper crinkle, and this is really thick paper, so I wouldn't advise you doing this. But I'm just going to have a go with the cheeky pink. Just put in, just see what it's like with a bit of a darker colour. It's certainly sort of smushing out and spreading, but I don't think we want that much water. It'd be alright if we were on watercolour paper, but look how it's sort of soaking into there as well and making a horrible mess. So no, you don't want to do that. So don't do that. So still haven't really worked out how to use this. I'm just going to read here what it says. Blend the colours with your water tank brushes. See, I haven't been able to do that. But I think I could probably blend them without the brush if I do it quickly enough. I don't know if they just dry too fast. Let's try these two pinks again, and I'm going to put the pale one down on a new section. I'm going to try and put it down really quickly. I think it's a bit wet from where I just saturated it with water, so we're going to have to persevere a bit to get some down. There we go. Just layer it up. And then quickly put this one on. Oh, that's better. Look at that. Now, is that because the tips was wet, or because I layered it up and I was quick? I don't know the answer to my question, so I'm going to try it with the dry one, just so that you can learn and see. What colour should we go for? We'll do something down here. I'm quite liking these petals. I'm going to continue them in the same colour. We'll just do something down here. Let's try and mix a pink and purple. What's that? Periwinkle and rosewood. So I'm going to take the lids off both. I'm going to have them really quick. So this is periwinkle. I'm just going to put it down, spread it quick like that. Get my rosewood, pull it on, mix it up. Now, is speed really of the essence, or would it mix that well without? Let's have a play. Let's do it more slowly on this one. So if I was really going to mix these colours, what I would want was I would want it to taper off here, which I can do slightly, and much more intense up here. So add a few more layers here, like like that. And then with this colour I would put more layers here, build that up, and then less down here. It does build up a little bit, but you can't spread the one into the other. Or eventually you can. That's really saturating the paper again. But you can do it. I wonder when it dries, because that's really wet there. But I messed up there, didn't I? It's gone through a little bit as well, which is really interesting, that one. But it looks quite dull, and I think that's because it's wet. And I think when it dries it might look better. But I can't say for sure. Let's put the lid back on. But what else should we do with pens? What else can we do? Well, we can just try doing this, look. So we can fill in this with the initial colour. Oh, I know what I was going to try with you. And then we can put another layer on the outside. And so we use the same colour, but we sort of darken it a bit like that. That's a different method. Now, I was going to show you the different strokes that you can do with it. It said on the piece of paper that the flexible tip allows you to create different line widths and colour intensity. Oops, bash. So I thought what I would do was go to a different page, because I want to finish that page. Sorry, this is my plastic shining in the... I thought I would go to the... I don't think there's a page in the back. There's a page in the front that we can play with, not that one. This one. It's just a sort of, you know, intro page. There are pictures on it, but I think we can, let's put our plastic underneath this, be sure. I thought we could do a few line lengths here. So this is just quite a dark colour. Sorry, I've turned it because that's what I do when I'm writing normally. So we can do a really light, thin one. We can do a thicker one. So if you're into your calligraphy, I can't write with toffee. I guess you get a few different thicknesses. It's quite hard though, isn't it? So yeah, you can push down really hard and get that, but also you can get a shape like this, which I guess all brush pens allow you to do. So you can end up doing a sort of flower with it if you want to go that way each time, though, don't you? With it like that or something. Yeah, if you do that, I can't do it. I've seen people do it really well, but yeah, practice. So yes, you can get different thicknesses. It also says different intensities, so I guess if you press and wait, you get more colour. I find it better to layer it up like that, but as I layer I can see the dots in it from the paper, which is, I find, quite interesting. But there it is, gone there. So there we go. I'm finished there. But just to summarise, you've got your 24 pens, and 2 water pens. I'm trying to find the page I coloured to show you. It's good, would be good, wouldn't it? Yes, you've got your 24 pens, your 2 water brushes. I don't know how much they are because I was just sent them, so I've got no idea. I haven't looked yet. I'll look. There we go. They are designed to work on this paper, so there you can see them. You can, as you can see from what I did, you can layer them up. I found it easier doing a light colour than a darker colour, like here. I thought that looked better than this, but you know, that's all down to personal taste really. You can just see the dark yellow better. You've got this range of pencils, colours. You've got peaches and pinks, blues, greens, orange and a few greys and browns type shades. You've got quite a good range of colour, and you can mix them and layer them. As you can see there, this paper has bent, but that hasn't here at all, only on that one where I put that huge strip and it's still wet. So that's fair enough, just don't do that. I mean, no one's going to do that. That was just me being a bit of a divot really, wasn't it? But there we go. I'm going to finish this because it was fun. It's going to look very strange, but you know, why not? And yeah, I haven't worked out how to use this with these. I've got no idea how it's supposed to work, but you know, you can use it for other things. I mean, your watercolour pencils and things. I'm not convinced that these are watercolour. I think they're just normal normal water-based markers. They've got a colouring community on Facebook, it says here, so whether I'd find out there, I don't know. Because it says they're water-based, non-toxic, and they don't smell, which is really good for me because I really loathe smelly pens. I'm just having a look at how they've used them here, because you see they've layered it up, I think. So they've done, there's a white bit there. They've used a white pen on top. I wonder if that works. I'm going to play. Which one's likely to leak into a white pen, do we think? This one? Or a pink? I haven't really got the type of pink that tends to leak into white pen. So, we're going to make that have a dotty pattern. Why not? So yes, you can put your white pen on top, so that's quite nice. But yes, so they seem to have layered them up a bit on the picture there, which is interesting. So anyway, that is me. Thank you for watching, and thank you for Colorya for the pens. I'm going to have fun playing with those. I'm going to, as I say, I'm going to finish this, but I'm going to play with other pages and designs as well, I'm sure, because yeah, I haven't got many pens, and it's just they're sometimes quite quick, aren't they? Quite quick and fun. But thank you for watching. Hope that you have a super day, and happy colouring.